It's 4 p.m. Stand up. It's count time. It's time for every man and woman to stand up and be counted. I'm Brother L.D. Azober, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Count Time Podcast. Now, we're going to go a little bit different direction here on this day of the holidays month of December. Had not planned on this, had not even thought about this until spending some time in a place this week that after thinking about it, I said, I need to possibly do something on this. And it's hard because the whole situation is dear and near to me and to my heart. And it's dealing with a place that I spent a lot of time at and still spend a lot of time at because of what it has to offer. But for those who might not know or might be familiar with what's going on, but have not been informed that there is a trial going on at the federal courthouse in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where Sharon Lewis versus Louisiana State University. And it's been a very interesting week, to say the least. And there's a lot going on, there's a lot happening. And for those who have never really been a part of the LSU program, it still would be very impactful to see and understand what's going on. In a way, I guess I'm a little confused about what's going on myself, because I don't understand why. Because what's going on now can and will affect a lot of people. The university that I so love and appreciate the opportunity they have given me, and to see what's going on now. I know what it is to be with a sideline player or sideline coach. Those on the sidelines, you can see a little bit more about what's going on, and you can kind of figure out what's going on. And sometimes being in the midst of everything, you can miss a whole lot because you only can see the part that impacts you. But sitting on the sideline, I'm kind of concerned. I guess the reason I'm concerned is that this is some serious stuff going on. It's a very serious situation, and it affects some good friends of mine. People that I do hold dear and near to me, that I have a lot of love and respect for. And it's kind of hard to talk about it. That's why I never thought about even talking about it. But to give you, I can't give you a play-by-play, but I can give you a day-by-day to let you kind of understand the degree of what's happening and what possibly will be happening in this case, in this trial. And the attorneys for Sharon Lewis, Larry English out of New York / Shreveport, and Albert Von Leer out of New York. It's these two attorneys, two dynamic attorneys, I must say, have truly done their homework, and they are on top of their game. And I have to give credit to the judge, Susie Morgan, who doing a wonderful job of refereeing this whole situation. And when you look to see what's going on, you kind of figure out with Sharon Lewis and her two attorneys and the two support staff that they received from these two young ladies from Southern University Law School, who helping them with their technical part of it when they're doing a great job. But Phelps and Dunbar, who was representing LSU, when I tell you they got a full team over there, in some kind of way they still seem like to me they're taking a whipping. I hate to say it like that, but these two are doing their job, and the judge is on task, and she's doing a wonderful job. I heard she's out of the Eastern District of New Orleans area, and because all the other judges, local judges, recused themselves of this matter, and probably rightfully so, because there's a lot of benefits for all in Louisiana who love LSU. But to sit there and see what's going on and seeing all these, men and women coming out the LSU athletic department, I ain't never seen. You got a full scope of all the people that's working at LSU athletics, because they all seem to be coming through this week and next week. What week you saying? This week, the trial started December the 11th, and they shut it down on December the 14th, which was last week Thursday, and they resume again this Monday and go until Thursday, where there's supposed to be a verdict that would be handed down. They started out the first day on Monday with 50 or 60 jurors, and they reduced it down to 9. It took them several hours. After lunch, they came back. They had 9 jurors. And interesting to see, out of the 50 or 60 jurors, they had about 10, 11 people of African descent, what we say black people. But when the final 9 jurors were seated, there was all white jury. And it was shocking to see that. It's very interesting to see that. And there were 9 men and 3 women. But to see what's going on, I might understand what's happening and why that happened. But these jurors have been very attentive, the best they can. There's a lot going on. They're bringing a lot of people through there, questioning them. Everybody they're bringing through there, I believe they've already given their deposition, their testimony, sworn testament. They already given that, so they've deposed. They have already been deposed. They're bringing them now as to in this trial to give back the info that they stated in their deposition. And it's been interesting to hear when it got started the first day. I don't like calling a bunch of names, but I might give a few names. And there's a lot of people are going to be affected or being affected in this situation. But the attorney English posed a question to the jurors. He said, "We would like for you to determine who fired Sharon Lewis." Now, this is not the trial of the overall case. This part is in a federal court, only to determine who fired Sharon Lewis. Now, it already have gotten very interesting. And to get to that, they're going through a whole lot of people, a whole lot of scenarios, a whole lot of situations. And also, I guess, to set up on not just who fired her, but why she was fired. The attorneys claim that she was fired because of she was retaliated against because she made claims against former coach Les Miles on behalf of several students. Now to get to learn more about that, as they continually mention in this trial, the Hush Blackwell report. You got to go read and see that report to understand what's going on, because I believe in March the 5th of 2021, this report was released, but it was commissioned by the president of LSU, who gave Hush and Blackwell the go-ahead to do investigation on this matter that these students had made claims about, and that Sharon Lewis had brought to everyone's attention. Now, at the forefront of that of that report is dealing with Les Miles and his predatory behavior, I guess that's what they keep saying in the trial, with these young ladies, and making demands to staff like Sharon Lewis to hire certain type of ladies to work, young ladies, young student workers, I guess that young student workers, to work around him and at the athletic department, and specifically the football, where he wanted a certain type of young ladies to be there. And it's interesting to hear what's going on and how it happened. But to move forward, so English proposed that request that these 9 jurors make a decision of this, hopefully this week, Thursday, coming up, to figure out who fired Sharon Lewis. And that is very interesting. It's very, very interesting. They brought in a few board members like Stanley Jacob, who was also a former chairman of the athletic portion of the Board of Supervisors. They brought in Mary Leach Warner, another board member, she was present board member, and they brought in Collis B. Temple Jr., another board member, who is, and they, but not Collis, but Mary Leach Warner and Jacob stated that the board do not hire nor fire. It only reviews and approves contracts that are handed down to the board. They don't interview. They don't do have anything to do with who the athletic department hire or who the president hire. They only approve what comes their way. They're not involved in the day-to-day workings of management of the university or the system. So it's been pretty interesting to hear that. And also came forward Thursday was Scott Woodard, the athletic director at LSU. And it kind of hurt to see that, because you're marching all these people here, and to Woodard support, I guess, in this way. He was not there at the time making these claims had taken place, but he was there at the time when Sharon Lewis was dismissed from her job. And they claim, of course, when Les Miles left, they brought in a new coach. When they dismissed Coach Ed Ogeron and brought in Coach Brian Kelly, that Coach Kelly removed everyone, basically, almost 40 or more people, they say, was terminated, and Sharon Lewis was in that number. But there's a dilemma with that number, with that situation, because they brought Scott Woodard to the courts on Thursday, and they asked him specifically, his job description, what he does, and then did he fire Sharon Lewis? But Scott said he did not fire Sharon Lewis. He only signed off on her being fired, because that's just part of his job, is to sign off. But Kelly, he said, Brian Kelly is the one who fired her. Well, that's pretty interesting, because the board already has claimed they do not hire or fire, determine who going to be hired or fired. And also that Scott Woodard said he hired Brian Kelly, but Brian Kelly hired and fired his own staff. But he said he did not fire Sharon Lewis. Brian Kelly would be coming to court this week, Monday or Tuesday, whatever day, maybe Wednesday, I'm not sure which day. And he's already stated in his deposition that he was ordered not to touch Sharon Lewis, so he did not fire Sharon Lewis. Now that's where it get interesting at now. Now it kind of reminds me of a TV series that was coming on in the early 70s called Dallas. I think about it now. In that weekly TV series Dallas, there was a situation that had taken place where someone was shot, right? And they wanted the series went on for weeks and weeks, and they wanted to find out who shot J.R. Most of you in my age bracket, you might remember that weekly series that was very popular. I was in high school and it was really big at that time, and I mean I remember all the students, everybody was excited, wanted to find out who shot J.R. Because J.R. was a guy named Larry Hagman played J.R. and he had this role of a powerful man. Kind of reminded me of somebody like Donald Trump, right? You know, kind of a little arrogant, but very forceful, get what he want and go after what he want. And so he was shot in that movie. I mean, that went on for weeks. They wanted to find out who shot J.R. And for those who might be too young to know about the series of Dallas, you remember, but this is more serious, but everybody want to know who shot Tupac. But really, and he died. So that's, you know, in the TV series, J.R. was just acting. He was playing a role. So it's kind of on that line. It's almost like being in the court every day. It's almost like a really a very good movie in a way, but with serious connotation and consequences to those who are involved with this. So they want to find out who fired Sharon Lewis. A.D. Woodard said he did not. He only signed off. They're going to be bringing Coach Kelly, who've already stated in deposition that he did not fire her. So where this going to go from here? How this going to play out? It is so interesting, but it's hurtful. Because a lot of my university being exposed and shown. A lot of people are being hurt. A lot of names are coming up. Like this week coming, you know, I know Ver's going to be deposed. You're going to have Coach Kelly. You're going to have several other people who was not deposed this week will be deposed next week. And you hate to see them put in that situation. But, you know, I guess everybody got the answer to their situations. And it's interesting to me at this point in time, and that's probably the reason why I decided to sit here and do this podcast, because I myself went through the legal system. Oh, I guess 2001 I was indicted. And when I showed up for court that morning in November 2001, you had 3-4 TV stations out there. You had radio stations. You had newspaper reporters out there. Just on my situation, my little case, just me, where I was charged with Medicaid fraud. But on this major situation that's going on right now with LSU, there's no one there. No one from the media besides a couple of guys that I got a chance to meet, who are really good guys that I enjoyed. Later I got a chance to meet them. But also you can go read in Tiger Rags online, where Jim Ingston, who's a very fair and impartial type of guy, he did write a little synopsis of what happened on Monday. So you can go on Tiger Rag online and read his perspective, or whoever wrote it. I'm just saying, because Jim Ingston is the one who runs Tiger Rags. Yeah, but even when I was indicted, you had a lot of folks show up to interview me, to capture my story on what happened. I was one guy who was indicted, former LSU player, former NFL player, and I had a whole lot of coverage. A whole lot of coverage. You might have thought I was the one who shot JR. But the media was not as hard on me as they could have been, so I have to say that. But they had to report what was given before them. But in this matter, where you got, 90%, 95, no, 95% of LSU top representative in the athletic department in the area of athletic department and football being deposed this week, and nobody shows up, no television, no what. And the reason I decided to do it because I was telling quite several of my friends where I've been this week, and they telling me I'm lying. They say, I ain't seen it on the news, I didn't read about it, so nobody believed that this is going on. Yeah, and it's hard to believe that it's going on, but it's hard to sit there and hear the testimony of young ladies who was once student workers at LSU, and how they was treated. And that's what they keep saying, how these powerful men sit in these positions like this and treating these young ladies. And the overall ladies that worked there, one of them was Sharon Lewis. And even a dear friend of mine, even Yaya, had to come and testify. And that was hard to even sit there and watch and hear, because she has to work there. So you're putting people in a lot of positions, uncomfortable positions that they don't need to be in. And you calling names of coaches and people that are still there at LSU. And you're bringing in, in fact, this week they're also going to bring in the president of LSU board, Valencia Jones, to testify. And so when you're seeing and hearing all these, like Marion Seeger she testified for 2 days. Jenny Stewart had to testify for 2 days, basically. And it's a lot. It's a lot on these ladies, but somebody have to answer the question. And everybody is avoiding it. Nobody taking hold or taking claim of what happened. But eventually, that's why they before the jury, because the jury would decide who did this. I almost forgot about this. The president of LSU, William Tate, will also be there this week. And the more I think about it, it's hard for me to understand why how do you say that? They don't just pay the lady. No disrespect, Sharon. Just what they call that, one of those terms people use, pay the lady. Because you marching all these high-ranking LSU men and women up there to the federal courthouse every day. And it's not a good look, LSU. I'm on the sideline. I'm not an attorney. I don't have any authority. But my opinion is that it's not a good look. You bringing the president of LSU to a courthouse to testify on things dealing with football, meetings he had on the side with other people, that can be very, very damaging to me. I mean, on why would the president of LSU go and hire somebody on the side, So these kind of things, I don't want to say specifically, but these are kind of things that are going to be coming up, because I'm sitting there every day, I'm hearing everybody's story. And everybody's story is adding up, but it's different in a lot of ways, and nobody's taking claim to anything. And I mean, that's the way it goes. But when you're marching the president of university into something like this, when he was not even there when Les Miles was there, he was not even there when the Hush Black Web report was first came out. He was not even at LSU. He came months later. But there's some things that happened once he got there that he's going to have to be held accountable now. And I don't think you need to put the president of LSU in that predicament. I don't think need to put Coach Kelly in that predicament. This man getting ready for a bowl game in a few weeks, and he's already stated something, and it's going to be contradictory to what Woodard said, and that's going to be a problem. Because if Woodard didn't fire Sharon Lewis, and Brian Kelly said he didn't fire Sharon Lewis, he was ordered not to touch Sharon Lewis. So where all this going to go? I hope they don't. I can't say the president fired her, because that's president don't hire and fire. I mean, nothing, just no disrespect to Sharon, but that's a low level employee for the president. So that's not somebody. That's athletics basically stands alone. That's what you see in now. The athletics stands alone, and I'm just confused. I mean, maybe the defense felt in Dunbar, the attorneys, and Winston DeQuill, I got to mention your name again. I know they've been mentioning a lot this week, Winston, because you are the chief counselor for LSU University, Louisiana State University. So Winston, I got to mention your name. Junior, not senior. I would have to believe y'all must have what they call it, a hell of a game plan. Because so far, in my estimation, I played a little football, I played linebacker, and that linebacker we had to determine, calculate what was going to be happening, how it was going to happen, make decisions, make moves, in order to make a play. And as I sit on the sideline now, and as I understand, I don't think the defense or those who represent LSU have gotten off the goal line yet. Y'all still on y'all goal line. Y'all hadn't moved forward at all. And maybe y'all don't see it that way. Maybe you got a better game, a great game plan that's coming up. But the damage would already have been done to the universities, to these men and women who works there, and specifically 2 or 3 men and ladies who will be impacted by this continuous trial that's going on in the federal courthouse here in Baton Rouge. And I just don't see the advantage. Even if you come back this week and at the end bring forth your defense, your witnesses, I don't see what the benefit going to be, because the damage will already have been done, and it's being done every day. And to pull Brian Kelly into this, I mean, you're causing animosity, you're causing resentment, you're causing frustration, because now I guess the head coach saying that he don't know who to trust. Because if he said he didn't fire her, that's going to be his stance. And he's going to be very, very frustrated when to know that someone put him in that position, and he didn't have to be in that position. So I don't see nothing good coming out of this for LSU, in my estimation, in my opinion, as someone sitting on the sideline, have no legal training, no legal education, just what we're going to call common sense, and to understand what's going on, and to sit there day after day and to hear what's happening. It's not a good look, LSU. And I just can't see you bringing in the president of the university and the head coach of LSU to testify in this matter. You done sit there just like I have. You done heard the whole discussion. You done heard what everybody had to say. You done read the deposition. You know all what's going on. You know much more than I know. I'm just saying, on the little that I have heard, LSU pay the lady and move on. I know, because I love my university, you have to protect the brand, but we also got to look out for the fans. Because I want y'all to know this is not a game. This is serious. This is so serious that it's going to give a negative, it's going to have such a great and negative impact on LSU in so many ways. And I'm not talking about in just 2023. I'm talking about the years to come. So why put these men and women in this predicament? I went to court 4 years later, 2005. I pleaded guilty to Medicaid fraud. Had to show back up to court, I guess it was August, September, right after the Hurricane Katrina. That's when that was. And I was sentenced to 2 years, 2 years, whatever it was. I forgot how they say that. Whatever, 33 months, 36 months, I don't know, to the federal prison. And it wasn't a beautiful thing. It was a hurting thing. It took a lot out of me. Nobody gonna go to jail. Nobody gonna go to prison in this matter. But there's gonna be a lot of serious scars and hurt and pain that people have to go through in dealing with this matter. But even in 2005, when I had to go to court to plead guilty, TV reporters showed up, news people showed up, newspaper people showed up. But in this case here, little old me got more attention than LSU gotten. So now people are wondering, is the whole state conspiring to cover something up? That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hearing. Why not put this, why not let people know what's going on? Why cover it up, LSU? Why cover it up, media? No media. Zero. Besides the people that are there who do their own little things. And Jim Inkster, like I said earlier, in Tiger Rags, he did put a piece out there. You can go read it online. But I'll just say, before I close here, LSU, you know what to do, and that is the right thing. I don't think we need to, how to say, air our dirty laundry in a courthouse, in a court of law. Who is Sharon Lewis that you refuse to even give her a fair compensation where she can move on and LSU can move on? That much resentment, hatefulness towards Sharon. They already said that Sharon did her job. Seemed like to me, from what I've heard. I mean, I'm not giving no opinion of the code of law. I'm just telling you from what I heard. LD, this is what I heard. This is what I heard. Seemed like she the only one did her job. And I hate to say that. I'm not taking no stance. But fair is fair. And I've heard Miriam Siegel testimony. I've heard Jenny Stewart testimony. To me, it was questionable. But I truly believe Miriam Siegel felt she was doing what they told her to do. So you can't get mad at Miriam. She was just doing what LSU asked her to do. But now you got to bring Coach Kelly, Verge, Osbury, and the president of LSU and the president of LSU Board of Supervisors. It's about to get ugly, folks. it's about to get ugly. Unless they shut this thing down and pay Sharon, and where everybody can move on and LSU can do what it do. Continue winning national championships. And we got to say congratulations to Jayden Daniels for winning the Heisman Trophy in 2023, quarterback of LSU. I want to say go Tigers. And remember, man can shackle the hands, man can shackle the feet, but only you can shackle the mind. The mind is free to travel wherever you dare to take it. Welcome to another edition of Count Time Podcast. Also, former athletic director Joe Oliva will be testifying this week. So it's a heck of a lineup, everyone.